Welcome to the next episode of Tech on Toast podcast. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Sachin Vasani, founder of INSY. Am I saying that right?
That is right, Chris.
That's great. If you've ever listened to this show, I always get the intros wrong. So lovely to meet you, mate. How are you? And welcome to Brewdog Hell, I can only call it.
Yeah, it's thank you for having me here. And yeah, quite an interesting day here at Brewdog being our half term. It was quite a surprise turning up here this morning.
Yeah, I haven't been before on half term. And I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to come again.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not the target audience.
No. It's very busy here.
I think it's kids eat free, someone told me.
Yes, I was talking to one of the staff earlier, and they mentioned that they've got an offer on today. So yeah.
Always read the small print, Chris. Okay, yeah, very cool. So look, Sachin, lovely to meet you. We've known you for a while. Where do you hail from? You're from Leicester originally.
I'm from Leicester. Yes, yeah. I live there, so I've just travelled down today. I'm in London for a few days, obviously here for this, but now I live in Leicester. Yeah.
And we've known you at Tech on Toast for probably about 6 months or so, maybe longer.
I believe so. Yeah. So I think it was about last year that I joined and came onto the platform into the marketplace.
And we're just doing iteration 75 of the marketplace at the moment, so we've got a new one coming out in about 6 weeks, which is really exciting, so it's going to be really cool. We've known you for a while, and you've just gone through a bit of a product redevelopment. But before we do that, I want to kind of know a bit more about the man behind the product. So tell us a little bit about your background, because have you always been in tech, or is this a new venture for you?
No,
I feel like this is going to go somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. No, I'm not a tech person, as in certainly don't have a tech background. Anything that I'm doing currently is things that I've learned over the last few years. But my background career-wise, I'll try and keep it brief.
It's your show, my friend.
But so I actually come from a social work background. So career-wise, I was hoping to, going back many years, the plan was to have a career in the sort of humanitarian field.
Right, okay.
So about 20 years ago, I joined an NGO, which took me overseas for a couple of years.
That's why I do the podcast. I did not know that about you.
No, yeah. So it's about 20 years ago, I sort of joined this NGO, went overseas for a couple of years, and I was involved in some water and sanitation projects.
That's amazing. Whereabouts were you doing that?
So initially I went to the US because the organization I was with had some like training schools, etc. So I was there for about 7-8 months. And then went to India and Africa where the project work was. So I was like staying in a very rural area of India, carrying out these sort of water and sanitation projects. And then we went, after that part was complete, went to Africa, did the similar sort of thing, and then eventually came back.
You know what? I am staggered, to be honest. I think it's a fantastic thing to do, but it's just I'm flabbergasted that I didn't know that. And I think it's so. What led you? Is it something in your childhood or something that led you to that, or is it just something that you?
I think just sort of growing up, I was my mom was always sort of in public service. She used to work as she still does to an extent. Was an interpreter. So I'd often hear kind of her stories about her sort of work, etc. As much as she could tell me. So I probably had a bit of an influence there. And then when I went to university, I was studying to be a social worker, and then it stemmed from there. And then eventually I started to just kind of look into sort of humanitarian field, working with like NGOs, United Nations, etc., all of that. And then eventually I found...
Yeah, you say like all of that, just the...
I'm trying to just keep... Yeah, I suppose it's a long story.
No, I know. I appreciate it. But I think it's a really admirable thing as well. And I think sometimes the entrepreneurs, which is what you are now, right? Which is what you're doing now. I think they're born out of stuff. When you see stuff in your life or when you kind of experience stuff, it does make you feel like you should create. I don't know, or you can change things. I suppose that ability to change.
Well, that's what happened to me. So at the end of that whole sort of programming period, and before I came back to the UK, I was I'd finished there. I was in Africa and I was with some family. They own businesses at the time. They own businesses out there. And then when I was having a chat with them and I was deciding to come back, I realized that actually it wasn't for me a career in that humanitarian field. It requires a lot of sacrifice, etc. And I decided that I should do something for myself when I get back, some sort of self-employment, but I didn't know what because I'd never had any interest in business, etc. Spoke to my family who had businesses then. They said, well, what do you enjoy? So, well, I like food, I like cooking, and I had experience of like cooking for large numbers of people during that experience. So they said, oh, why don't you do something food related then? And I thought, okay, maybe I'll try and have a go at catering. So we, during that period with my family, I sat down with my uncle, who was my sort of first mentor, if you like, and he showed me what a business plan was. Didn't even know what a business plan was at that point. And we literally sat on one evening, knocked up this plan, had like some forecast in a spreadsheet. So I still have that business plan to this day. It was just like, a couple of pages of A4, came up with a name for this catering business I was going to do, which I never stuck with that name, but it became something else. But eventually came back to the UK, got a job, worked for a while, and then decided to start this catering business off. And it was called Piquant Cuisine at the time. And I was doing catering for corporate events, office sort of functions, etc., all of that, some private functions. And that's how it started, this sort of path to self-employment. And eventually...
And it is a path.
Yeah, it is a path. So this is now, I've been self-employed for about 15 years. This is my third business.
Can you just tell me at what point it becomes easy?
I don't think it does become easy.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, it doesn't. And it's a constant learning battle. You're always...
I think it's taken me like 3-4 years financially to be in control of it.
Yeah.
From going for being looked after for so many years in corporate and being employed, your paycheck just arrives, right?
Yeah.
To managing all the different taxes and everything you have to pay as self-employed. I know there's people listening to this thinking, God, yeah.
You wear many hats as a business owner.
Yeah.
You're the sales guy, you're the finance guy, you're the accountant, you're the cleaner as well. Yeah, absolutely.
HR.
So yeah, HR, all of it. Yeah, you absolutely are. It's your business, it's your baby, so you have to learn every aspect of it before you can teach it to somebody else.
100%.
So, yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you. You were...
No, that's fine. Yeah. So this catering business ran for about 2 years, and the idea was that I would eventually transition to some sort of food service retail. There was something that I was working on at the time, like a cafe style business. And I put a lot of research into it. Spent about a year developing a business plan, etc. But it was around credit crunch time, so it was very difficult to get any
timing is everything.
Exactly, any kind of finance or etc. So I couldn't really get any sort of startup capital that I required. So I put that on the back burner of the project, and then I ended up having a kind of a light bulb moment for another business. And I was in a greeting card shop one day with a friend of mine who was looking for a card for his uncle. But in that moment, it dawned upon me that if you're of South Asian ethnic origin, if you speak like an Indian language like Gujarati, Punjabi, or etc., then in those languages we have all these different kind of kinship terms for our relations. It's not just like in English culture, uncle, auntie, or granddad, grandma. There's a whole bunch of these sort of different kinship terms that identify the blood relation between your different relatives. So it dawned upon me that there's no kind of greeting cards that represent that for that market in the UK. So this idea was in my head, and then I still had this catering business still going, and then anyway, this was just playing on my mind. I started to do a little bit of market research, see if anything was like out there in the UK. Came across one company at the time, sorry, two. One was doing sort of seasonal Asian greeting cards, and the other one was doing something similar, but I still didn't feel like they had something exactly the same sort of idea that I had in mind. So then I just decided to, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to do it. And didn't know nothing about greeting cards. Didn't know nothing about, but typical bloke, never sent a card to anybody. And long story short, I eventually started that business and created our first kind of range and products, and then learned everything that I needed to learn about sort of the printing industry, design, all of that. And we took the product to market. We found a few retailers that were happy to stock the product, and it just started from that. And then eventually that business sort of ran for about 6-7 years. At its peak, we had about 200 retail stockists that were stocking the products all over the UK. And then we had an e-commerce shop as well. And it's that point where I started to sort of cultivate an interest for digital marketing,
is where it came from. Yeah,
technology,
okay. Yeah.
Software, all of that. And that's where that...
I find it, I love, this is why I love doing the pod, right? Because you speak to people who, some people are employed by the tech company, some people founded the tech company, but more often than not, there's a trigger somewhere that pushed someone to something. And I love the fact you're standing in a gift card shop thinking, I can do that. Why? It's the sheer confidence in yourself that you're thinking. Most people would just think, well, why would I do that? The ones like you and I suppose me and other people think I can do that and I will, kind of thing. So I think that's it's an innate thing that most psychopaths have.
So in everything I've learned about business, it's quite often it's just about having courage and being willing to have a go and not being scared of failure. And just keep trying and being persistent.
Yeah, it's a very brave thing financially and personally, isn't it, to go and do so, because you've got people who rely on you, around you, a family or whatever. And
Exactly. Yeah.
emotionally, they go on that journey with you.
Yes.
And financially, potentially, they
Yeah.
go on that journey with you.
Yeah.
So it is a brave thing to do. And I think you're right. Courage is something that's shared across those kind of people. I think it's something where they're just, some people say, oh, they've got balls, they go and do it. But the reality is it's deep in that. It's something they've got this drive or will to win or whatever it might be that actually puts them ahead of other people. So super interesting. And the e-commerce is what that triggered
that
yourself.
sort of triggered to what I'm now, or I have been doing for the past 3-4 years. So,
And tell us about if you had to give us your best pitch, I suppose, about the product.
so
what does it do?
Right. Well, there's three products, but INSY as a brand, in a nutshell, INSY is all about helping hospitality operators to attract, convert, and retain 2 times more customers in a systemized way that increases sales, boosts profits, but without hefty upfront costs or long-term commitments. So our sort of focus is on providing operators with effective marketing systems, and those marketing systems cover 3 kind of core areas: so online ordering, sales, marketing and customer communications, and digital loyalty. So we've got 3 core products that cover those,
Which all link together, right? I presume, because they all make
they're all
sense.
standalone, but they
Yeah.
all integrate together as well to provide one kind of complete
Like an ecosystem of
Yeah.
I think the loyalty piece is super interesting as well. I mean, I'm interested to know, I'm guessing you grow this out of smaller restaurant chains, right? You're working with when you start.
When I started, so INSY has only just actually rebranded the business sort of at the beginning.
Yes,
of this
because
year.
it was Venture
Venture Apps previously, and so when I started Venture Apps, it was really focused on providing mobile apps to small local businesses. But then eventually, I kind of honed in and decided to focus on restaurants. And at the time, around 2020, when I was starting out, there was a lot of market research to say that independent restaurants, etc., were fed up with the marketplace platforms, etc. And then
because generally they're built for, well, the marketplace, as in, like, do you mean like Deliveroo and those kind of,
yeah. So there was a lot of like research to say that.
Yeah, because they take all your money.
Yeah,
I can say that.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, like I said, Carissa, they have a place, and also the people who started those businesses were also entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They saw a gap in the market, they created something, and they serve a purpose. It brings in incremental revenue.
I think they changed the game, right? They changed the game, and I think I genuinely believe, I agree with you, there's a place for them.
Yeah.
What I struggle with is the profitability side of it for a business, and I know there's, for the bigger guys, they get different deals and they can get different percentages and whatnot. But I ran Prime Minister for a while as an ops director, and I remember trying to negotiate the deal for 12 sites versus someone with 100 sites. It's tricky and it's hard, but it's a necessary. You have to do it. Yeah, I mean, you don't have, if you've got a product that can be put on a bike, then you should try it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find customers you don't normally have.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you're doing, right? You're also connecting with people.
So I initially just started out locally where I live in Leicester, approaching independent restaurants.
So literally door knocking.
Yeah. And I'd had experience of that from my previous business with the greeting cards business. I would just walk into shops and just say, "Hey, I'm Sachin."
Tell me about it, because I was saying the other day, I think I might start doing it myself. It doesn't sound very productive for me, but I'd love to. I need to understand more about the smaller guys, what they do, because we tend to work with some of the bigger brands, and I'd love to understand more about the day-to-day challenges these guys. I think I know, but I'd love to talk to them, and I think you must learn a lot doing that when you're building, especially.
Yes, from what I've seen. The small operators is generally owner-operated businesses, so they're working in the business as well as trying to work on the business, and that's generally the challenge for probably most kind of small local businesses, that you spend a lot of time working in your business, but not enough time working.
Yeah, it almost caps your performance, doesn't it? Because you just get sucked in because the manager's not in or something's happened or whatever.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, you've got to wear so many different hats when you're operating a business, and it's your own. So the challenges that they have is quite often around, like, obviously, finance is one, but then marketing is another, and which is where we're trying to help, because ultimately what we do is we are a marketing company. So I try to take an approach with my customers. I'm constantly trying to educate them about marketing, why they should do marketing, why they should invest in it. A lot of the time, businesses often see marketing as a cost, rather than an investment.
Yeah.
Because any kind of market,
Which is natural, right? It's like buying tech. You kind of
Yeah.
like, but why do I have to spend £150 a month on
Yeah.
that when, you know, I can do it myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. And even whether you're a small independent operator or a chain of businesses, ultimately the goal is the same. That tech or that activity should generate a return for you
Yeah.
of some sort.
Do you think it's hard to prove return on technology sometimes? Or I'm not saying your tech particularly, but I often find that's one of the. I just had lunch with someone before who is running a sizable chain, and we were talking about how the tech guys can prove return. Not the tech guys' fault,
Yeah.
but the operators want to say, okay, if we spend this much money, which we're happy to do, how can you prove, you know, that we're going to get X back, kind of
Yeah.
thing? And do you think it's a challenge?
Yes and no, but if the solution and the system provides the right type of data, then it shouldn't really be a
Yeah.
challenge, because that's the beauty of having tech, because it provides you that data.
There's
data
no
that you
escape.
can, there's no escape.
Yeah.
There's data that you can analyze, that you can look at your kind of trends, your performance. So in some ways it shouldn't be a challenge, but
I think it's about the metrics. I think it's about asking the right questions about challenging whether the ROI happened or not, rather
Yeah.
than actually having ROI. It's like, what is the metric of it?
yeah. So it's funny you say this, actually, because one sort of kind of bugbearer that I have quite often when I'm dealing with independent businesses, and in my experience, is what you're saying about metrics is, particularly from a marketing perspective. What I find quite often is, in this day and age, because if you talk to somebody about marketing, they often just think of social media. And again, I'll give you an example. Just last week, I was sat down with a potential prospect, and it was was going through kind of what we can do, blah blah blah, and he asked me about social media, and he told me about how this other agency has told him that they'll take care of all his social media, produce all his content, and get him all these followers.
Yeah.
So I asked him the question. I said, "Well, you've opened this restaurant business, and do you want followers or do you want customers?"
Oh, good question.
And he's like, "What do you mean?" I says, "Well, your business is about ultimately selling food.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, but in my view, I think it's about having bums on seats, or people enjoying your food in the comfort of their own home. So while someone will come along and make you all these promises about getting you thousands and thousands of followers, but you probably don't really understand how these social media algorithms work, because if I enjoy food and I'm always looking at content of food, guess what those algorithms are going to show me? So that agency will probably get you followers, but it's no point having hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yeah, someone who thinks your donut looks pretty doesn't mean they're going to come and eat it.
Exactly. And you don't know where those followers are. They could be in Timbuktu somewhere. So,
Yeah.
and you're a local business. So what's the point of having...
Yeah, I think there's two very different places. And when the local guys, it needs to be granular. You need to put in bums on seats, as you put it.
Yeah.
And then obviously you can argue for the bigger picture guys, for the guys who've got a state across the country. That
Yeah.
awareness is super important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. And I think sometimes people are blinkered. It's like a vanity metrics. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
I've got 1 million followers, but my restaurant's closing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And in business, you've probably heard that term. There's vanity marketing, sanity marketing.
I'm obsessed with it. Like, trust me, I'm a nightmare. Sarah tells me all the time, Chris, it doesn't matter if we have 20,000 followers. We just need 2
That's right.
that care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And again, quite often you've probably heard the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
8% of your
I
revenue.
can't name one of my products 80/20 actually.
Yeah. So I know. So you're right. It is about looking at the right metrics. And I think from the operator's perspective, it's very much about customers, because customers is what will drive your business. What will help
It's why we do this, Sachin. It's why we do this, because it's about education, right? I'm guessing with you, especially you're building a new business, well, it's not a new, marketing's not new, but it's a new way of doing marketing. It's a new way to market for them.
Yeah.
You have to do a bit of education, I presume, or like quite a lot. Or I don't know. I don't know how far these people are in, because I imagine marketing and then this is not being dismissive at all, by the way, to anyone who runs a restaurant on their own, but it's not top of their agenda, right? They're like you said before, their agenda is to get the doors open, get people in, get the kitchen on, get the basics done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, in my experience, and I'll give you another example from another conversation recently. And when you talk about marketing with somebody who's like an independent operator, or even maybe a chain business, or like an up and coming sort of chain, Marketing, sometimes the sort of common objections I kind of get is, oh, we're all right for now. We don't need any more kind of business. We're okay. We're not really looking to get more sales. So I think, right, okay. So again, this comes down to distinction and understanding. So this is where the educational piece comes in. So
Yeah, it's true.
marketing is not always about sales. If you look at some of the big brands, take McDonald's for example, do you think they need to sell anymore? But they're constantly marketing.
Yes.
They spend money on advertising all the time. They're running TV ads, every day.
And you would argue
Why?
their brand awareness is number one, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But why did they do that? So they do that because the purpose of marketing is top of mind awareness. So, and that's what that's what it's about. It's staying top of mind with your customers. And ultimately, the goal of marketing is to keep your business sustainable and help it to grow.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
and out your three products, then the three streams, I suppose. Where do you find if most people fall in one pot? I suppose because I imagine you go in and sell one bit, or they might be attracted to one bit to start with, and then they might take the other bits up as on the go. Which one is it that's drawing them in most, or where do they need the most support? I suppose I'm asking.
Well, yes, good question actually. So,
it's my job.
On the online ordering side, obviously, is kind of that was our first sort of product. So we're quite established with that. We've got existing customers who are using.
And also makes sense, right? Because it's order injection. It's the bit where the order's going in, and it triggers the thought of how do I get that person to do that again, which is loyalty or whatever.
That's right. Yeah. So that's where probably the other two products come in. So the three products are INSY Order One. That's the online ordering system. And then you've got INSY One. That's the all-in-one system for sales, marketing, and customer communications. And now we've got INSY Loyalty One, which is the digital loyalty product. So with customers already with us and they've been using our ordering system, the advantage for them is that they've built up a customer database.
Yeah.
So if we now onboard them onto INSY One, which is the all-in-one, that's where things get really interesting. And then we can help them with sort of done-for-you sort of services. So we can help them with their kind of marketing campaigns, social media, review management, customer communications. For example, it also has a telephony system in there as well. So
that's cool. How does that work?
It's VoIP. So there's like a little mobile app that comes with it, or you can answer calls through the web browser as well. And it's all linked to the CRM that's within the system. And then I say, so if someone becomes a contact in your account, well, now you can engage with them conversationally through various connected different communication channels. So it will connect all your communication streams. So whether it's email, SMS, social media DMs.
So it brings it all into kind of one place.
One single inbox, and they can manage that just on an app on their phone, or there's like or through the web browser when they log into their actual account. And within there, then there's certain, as I said, done for you services that we set up. And for example, one of them being something what we call missed call WhatsApp back.
Yeah.
So if somebody calls the restaurant, they're unable to answer, system automatically fires a message on WhatsApp, lets the customer know, says, sorry, we couldn't get to the phone.
What do you want? Yeah.
Yeah, what you
want?
want?
A pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, and they reply back pizza, whatever the buzzword is. Automatically, we then send them a link to go online to order or book a table.
That's kind of like social ordering, isn't it, in a way? That kind of automatic ordering, but through your social channels.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I say then their social media is also connected as well. And they have a social media planner built in, so they can link up all their accounts, and they can schedule and post all their content just in one go.
Who builds this? You're remarkable. Who builds this? Do you have a team of? Do you have a developer that you work with? Or
yes, we've got a team of developers. So behind me, there's I have a partner as well. Sort of behind the scenes, but
they don't wheel him out.
Yeah, he likes to sort of say yes.
There's always one who's hidden. Yeah.
He's sort of behind the scenes. He's probably more technically inclined than I am. But then there's a team of sort of developer partners, other software technology partners. We've also got some freelancers that work with us as well, like to do like customer support, etc.
Yeah.
Designers, that kind of thing.
It's very cool. Yeah. And what I suppose the journey for what kind of, I suppose, can you give us some examples of where a customer's joined you and they've gone through your product and some of the success they've had, or what kind of journey they've been on in terms of from zero to hero as it might be?
I can give you an example actually. So this particular service that we offer, this missed call WhatsApp back service. So one of our restaurant customers has been using that for the past 5-6 months, and they get about 2,000 calls a month.
Is it like a takeaway?
It's a restaurant and takeaway. So
Wow.
it's a
I've been out of the game for so long. I just find 2,000 calls. I'm like, I'm already tired.
So they're a sort of bar grill sort of place.
Right, okay.
They serve Indian food. So it's a very popular place. They're always packed every evening. Probably they have about 70-80 covers, and very popular with takeaway as well. So they get about 2,000 calls a month for people ringing in for either book a table or order, but they miss 30% of those calls. And
it's so cool that you know that, just because of the tech. Before you say anything else about some of the good stuff that happened for that, the fact that you've dropped the ball a third of the time, that's huge, right? Because that's money on the floor.
So our system shows that because we connect to the Google Business Profile. So once we've set them up on the system, as I said, telephone is included in it as well. So they'll get a number that comes along with this system. It's a virtual number. We hook it up with their Google Business Profile. So when someone calls in, we're able now to track all those calls. So we can see all the data of how many calls they're receiving, how many they're missing, how many being answered, duration of the call, you name it. It's all there.
Cool.
And so with this missed call WhatsApp back service, those 30% that they're missing now, we've actually managed to increase their average monthly revenue by 50% now, because all those missed calls are being now turned into online.
Because it's not like going shopping, right? When you go and look at some jeans, for instance, and you're like, you try them, and maybe the customer service assistant doesn't come along, and you walk away. You probably weren't definitely going to buy. You're just having a look. But the difference with phoning a takeaway or phoning a restaurant, I mean, why would you do it unless you're either going to order or reserve?
Yeah.
So it is actual money you're losing, isn't it? Straight away.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I don't know why I haven't heard. I don't think I've experienced it either.
If you think that's cool, Chris,
I'm easily pleased, Sachin, to be fair.
then I've got something that I can kind of show you right now, which I think
is this going to work on the podcast? Let's try.
This is going to work. So,
hey, you have reached INSY Spice. My name is Nishi. How can I help?
Hi there. Yeah, I want to find out if you're open today.
Yes, we're open today from 11 in the morning until 11 at night. Is there anything else I can help you with? Maybe a table?
Yeah, I'd like to book a table, please.
Sure thing. Could I please have your first and last name along with your phone number?
It's Sachin Vasani. Phone number is 07931 732 735.
Is that your real mobile number?
Just to confirm, your first name is Sachin and last name is Vasani. Is that correct? And your phone number is 0... Perfect. I'll send you a link to book your table online. Please check that you've received it and let me know if there's anything else I can do for you.
Okay, hang on, let me check.
I'll WhatsApp you the link to book your table with us online. I've sent you the link to book your table online. Let me know if there's...
I've got the link.
Awesome. If you need anything else, feel free to reach out. Enjoy your meal at INSY Spice. Have a flavorful...
I wanted to ask about if there's anything special on the menu today.
Our menu is packed with delicious options. Some of our popular dishes include the mixed sizzler boneless, chicken lollipop, and Darba lamb. If you're in the mood for something spicy, you might enjoy the garlic chili chicken or paneer tikka masala. Anything else you'd like to know?
What time is the last order in the kitchen?
The kitchen takes last orders at 10:30 p.m. Anything else I can help with?
And do you have any gluten-free options?
We do have some gluten-free options, but it's best to confirm with the kitchen for specific dishes. Would you like me to connect you with someone who can provide more details?
That's okay for now, but I'll check when I come into the restaurant. Thank you.
Sounds good. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Looking forward to seeing you at INSY Spice. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
That's very cool. And it worked.
Yes, and it worked. Yeah, that's right. This is a new service that we're literally just launching, and so it's an AI employee.
Very interesting. I was at the Open Table Summit thing, back summer last year, and they had a AI company on stage talking about this very thing, talking about how AI voice will start managing this, and that's out there now. We can
set this up now. We essentially, Nishi is an AI employee. She can work 24/7.
What's her name?
Well, we've called her Nishi, but you know,
no, it's cool. I love the fact that people name AI. It's humanizing AI.
You can obviously, for any venue that would be interested, they can call their AI employee whatever they want to call it, name it, and
within reason, people.
And we can customize it
percentage wise, how reliable is that? As in, I mean, I suppose it's AI. How reliable is it? How long is a piece of string type thing? But you tend to see really good. I mean, that was pretty clean then when you did it, especially when I thought it was interesting when you were interrupting her.
Yeah,
and she still came back on track.
Yeah. So this is really, really brand new. We're about to go live with one of our restaurant customers probably in the next week or two. So we're going to get in a real sort of situation. Right up until now, we've been testing it,
ringing her daily.
And we're open to anybody who wants to give it a go. We've got like a demo number, and people.
That's very cool. Well, when we do the podcast notes, we'll do this as the clip, right? Yeah. No one will see anyone talking, but they'll hear them.
In fact, we can set a challenge if anybody wants to have a go at breaking Nishi. We can do like a challenge. Maybe we'll give you like a £25 Amazon voucher or something
if you can break Nishi. Poor Nishi. Yeah. But that's so cool, and I think so. Where you're going with this is that you're really trying to. For me, independent operators, there's a really simple mantra: you stay alive, right? You've got to kind of make as much money as you can to keep yourself going, look after the team that have looked after you, all the good stuff, right? That makes running a restaurant great fun and really hard work. And it feels like you guys put yourself in the middle of that in terms of helping people, because you're catching coins there, right? These are the things that would go missing otherwise.
Exactly. So it's the same. Our mission really is to help operators to leverage the latest in sort of technology, AI-driven marketing systems. Whether you're an independent operator or you're a small up-and-coming chain, ultimately it's our mission to help you to save time, reduce manual effort, streamline processes, automate day-to-day activities, but most importantly, help you to focus on what really matters, which is growing your business.
Yeah, and that WhatsApp thing, I'm probably got people listening to me going, yeah, mate, it's been around forever. I just think that's a really simple way.
Yeah.
Do you how does it work? You get charged per message, or how does it?
No. It's just included in the.
So you have a bunch of you have an incorporate package.
We have a package. So that's all within the INSY One system. Right. So I'm allowed to say prices, etc.
This is your show, my friend. You can do what you want.
So INSY One, it starts from $147 a month.
I think it's quite refreshing. Most people think you're giving prices because most people wouldn't. So no, I think it's good.
Yeah.
So 147
it starts from $147 a month, and that gives you the whole system, all the done for you services.
So how much is the average takeaway? Do you think about 35 quid?
Yeah. Well, I know across our sort of estate, the average order value is about £27.
So let's call it 30 quid for argument's sake. So 150 quid. So 5 dropped orders picked up by WhatsApp or picked up by Nishi.
Yeah.
You've paid Sachin off for the month.
Yeah. I mean, so
that's just 2 things, right?
Just to be clear, the Nishi is going to be like a sort of premium.
I get it. No, it's fine. But let's just talk about the WhatsApp thing alone, right?
But the WhatsApp thing alone, like I say, that if somebody signs up in that 147 package, they'll have that missed call WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But it's not just that, Chris. They're literally getting.
Yeah, because I've only focused on the thing that made me excited.
Yeah, no, but that in itself will, as I said, with our other restaurant customer that we've been using that for the past 5 months now. They're missing 30% of calls for them. We've seen that the average monthly order value has increased by. The average monthly revenue has gone up by 50%.
That's crazy.
And because that simple message going out and engaging that customer is immediately capturing that and turning that into.
And I think what's interesting is that a lot of people look at tech to focus on enterprise chains. So the big guys, Pizza Express, all the big guys that have been around for a while. But what's interesting is that you're coming at this at an angle as well, which is quite, because you're thinking about their operation in terms of where they are lacking money. Because I only ring my takeaway. I don't think I use my phone.
Right.
like for anything else outside of ringing a friend or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it's weird.
So yeah, I mean, it works. It works two ways, right? One is about providing convenience to the customer.
Yeah.
But it's also about making your life.
Yeah, I'm just
easier.
obsessed with the profit.
Even as an operator.
That's my fault. I'm operation shoes on, but yeah.
But even as an operator, you know, you've got to look at ways where you can save time, streamline, and be more efficient.
Yeah, because you're right. I really didn't look at it from a customer angle. You're actually
Yeah.
sort of, I'm not walking off disappointed. I'm actually getting an experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very cool. And what does the future look like for you then? Because you're not going to rebrand again soon, are you?
No,
You're done for
no,
rebranding?
that's it. Done with the rebranding. So now it's about focusing on just getting out there and talking to potential customers.
Yeah, I think anyone who, I think
operators.
what's really interesting is I think people need to come and pick your brains, because I think some of the stuff you talk about, particularly on some of the results you've had, is super interesting about profitability. And we all know we're heading into April.
Yeah.
Yes, let's not talk about that anymore, but it's going to be hard. But
This is why, like, my approach is really, I'm happy to talk to whoever. I even when I was here at service, I was going around talking to people, and I was saying, look, you can, I offer a free strategy call. Just spend an hour with me or 2 hours.
I think that's
Let's
the way,
just
right?
have
And
a-
I
have a
think
chat.
your door knocking ability will translate into your networking ability, obviously, because you're not afraid to walk up to people and say, "Hey, look, I'm Sachin. This is what I do." And I think people listening in, I think it's really important that you guys should all connect and
Yeah.
actually talk on this kind of stuff, and just ask Sachin about A, how he's got to this point, and B, what he could do for you.
I mean, like I say, Chris, I'm happy to talk to anybody that's interested or just wants to have a friendly chat. Whether you're an independent operator or you're a chain operator, to me, it doesn't matter. You've got a business to run. If you're looking to grow, you want to sort of boost your sales and boost your profits. Then let's have a chat.
And on that note, how do they get hold of you?
Website goinc.com. Obviously, probably everybody's got my number now.
That's why I was laughing. I was just thinking, is that
Yeah.
your real number?
But yeah, that's my number. You can call me, but otherwise, if you go on the website,
LinkedIn? Get you on LinkedIn as
I
well?
am on LinkedIn. Yeah, Sachin Vasani. I'm on LinkedIn. But yeah, goinc.com. Contact details are all on there as
And
well.
INSY on the marketplace as well, guys. So come and check them out,
Yeah.
have a look, and
Contact
find them there.
contest, Yeah.
No, but it's important to say, and we're redoing actually. And I'm going to, well, after this, I'm going to talk to you about the WhatsApp thing. It'd be great to do some content around it, or something we could work something out. It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
just to show people that feature as well,
Yeah.
visually.
Sure.
That'd be really cool. So look, thank you, Sachin. I know you've come down here today. Are you down for 2 days, or are you just down for the
I'm here for the rest of the week. I'm actually heading
Oh,
back
God.
on Monday. So I'm
with the
gonna be-
kids all weekend? Like, have you got kids?
No, I don't have kids. No,
Okay,
no,
well,
no.
you can borrow one. There's plenty out there. But enjoy your stay in London.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Stay away
Thanks
from the
for-
tourist bits, I would say.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I appreciate
No,
it.
and do you know what? Thank you for being a loyal customer. What I love about Tech on Toast sometimes, obviously we deal with a lot of big people, right? Your Squares, these big guys who have billions of dollars and can operate in a level. And what I really appreciate is the people like you who come along, who have built their own business, are fighting the fight and joining our community and platform. So yeah, I urge all of you to support this chap and kind of get in there and help everyone. Like, all boats rise with the tide, right?
Thank you.
Anyway, look, thank you very much, mate. Enjoy the rest of half term. I'm going to go and hide in a cupboard. Cheers. Bye bye.
Thank you.